Alright, as we can see, we've been able to select the top 1000 from the pizza sales table. The next thing we want to examine now is this. What are the other information that we can get from the table? Now let me give you one particular query type that you can always use, and this will help you to be able to examine the table as a whole. So you can actually select column name. You can select column name. Now from where? From information. Now from information underscore schema, as you can see. Now then you put dot columns. Now then where table name, where the table underscore name is equals to, now what's the name of the table, then you indicate it. Okay, this is a pizza sales, so we're going to be using pizza underscore sales. So by the time we have this, let's see, by the time we run this query, let's see what will happen. We're going to have something like this. As you can see, these are the column names that we have in the table. We have the pizza ID, so you can see it's actually 11. You can actually select the count of the column name. You can select how many columns that we have there. Like, okay, take for instance, how many columns do we have in the table, like that. So it is very possible. Now, if we want to select count, take for instance, you want to be sure of how many columns, you can just copy this particular query. Now, copy it here, paste it, then you could just select count of this. You understand? Count of what? The column name. Maybe you want to select the count of the column name. You understand? So by the time I run this query now, it's going to tell me how many columns I have in the table. It's going to count the entire. You can see we have 12 columns in your barrel. Let's see the table as a whole. What type of data do we have in the table? Like this time around, we're not selecting column, but we're selecting all. So we select all from. We select all from here, from information.schema, information underscore schema dot columns. So by the time we do this, where table name underscore name is actually equals to the pizza sales. So we use a pizza underscore sales. So as you can see, we didn't close the string because that's a string. If you don't close it, it will identify it as one. So as you can see, so we can now run this query. So by the time we run this query, this is what we're going to see: a detailed summary of all that has to do with the table. Take for instance, we can see that in this table we have this column name, as you can see here, this particular column name. Now if you move forward, you're going to see the type of data that is present in each column. Now for the pizza ID, what we have, the data type that we have there is integer. Now other ID integer, pizza name is variable characters, like that, pizza name like that, tiny integer, float, variable characters. So as you can see that, so other information about the, now you can check the number of numbers value that we have there. So now we also have character set schemas like that. So all of these are information concerning the table. So let's look at some of the questions that are being required of us. Okay, so this time around now we want to examine the following questions. Let's write a query to calculate the total revenue generated from all veggie pizzas. Now, veggie pizzas actually is a category of pizza. So what we're going to do is let's write a query to calculate the total revenue. So what we intend to do now is to select. Now, total revenue is the sum of all the money that was generated, sum of all the revenue that was generated. So how do we calculate the sum? We calculate the sum by multiplying the unit price. We multiply the unit price in the table. If you check the table, the unit price, we multiply the unit price we multiplied by the quantity that was sold. So multiplied by the quantity. So by the time we multiply the sum, this sum, like we'll multiply this and then we do the sum, we're going to get this as the revenue. So this is going to serve as our revenue. That's the total money that was generated, which is what they expected from us. Then we're going to select also the pizza category, which is very essential. Also selecting it from, they are coming from the pizza sales table, so we're using the pizza sales. If we do this now, apparently we're going to get a result. But here's the challenge that we have. If we do this, if we actually do this, we're going to get a result, but that's not what we've been required to do. We've been asked to write a query to calculate total revenue that was generated from all veggie pizzas. So we're going to say where, let me break this query so it can be neat. So where the pizza category now, where the pizza category is equals to the veggie that we're talking about now. So you have to also group it by what? We have to group it by, because if we don't group it, we will not be able to get results. Group by, we also have to group it by the pizza category. Then we can now order it by, order by the revenue that was generated. Like this. You can always do something like this. It gives that, it makes it much easy for people to read your query and more neat. So you can see this is the sum total of all the revenue that was generated from this particular pizza category. Now we can also do something about this. You can see this is in several decimal places. I can decide to round this thing up to a particular, I can decide to round it up to a particular decimal places. Now, how can I do that? I can come to where I have this sum and then use a particular command, a particular function known as the round. I can round this particular thing up, this sum. I can round it up to how many decimal places? Let's say I want to round this up to 1 decimal places. I can just do this. So by the time I run this query now, it's going to give my answer in 1 decimal place. So the next question is saying that write a query to retrieve the total quantity of each pizza category. Now our duty is to retrieve the total quantity. So now we want to select, write a query to retrieve. So we want to select total quantity of each pizza category. So now we want to select count of, we want to select, let's say pizza category. We want to select pizza category. We want to select pizza category. Now after we're done selecting pizza category, we want to select pizza category. When we select this pizza category, the next thing we want to do is select the count. Count of what? Count of quantity, because the thing is asking us to calculate the total quantity. So we're calculating the count of quantity as, we're selecting it as total quantity order. You understand? We can say total order. Let's say we use total orders. You understand? Total orders. So now after we must have done this, the next thing we want to do is, because it's asking us to retrieve total quantity of each pizza category. So we have to now say, okay, well, let us group it by, let's group by, we group it by the pizza category. So by the time we group it by the pizza category, let's see what happens. So pizza category. Now after we group this by pizza category, the next thing that will happen is we're going to, just a quick one. As you can see, the query is now being executed for this particular one. You can see the query. This is the outcome of the query. Write a query to calculate total revenue generated from all veggie pizzas. Okay, from all veggie pizzas. Okay, all veggie. We have saying all veggie. Okay, write a query to retrieve the total quantity of each pizza category. Select pizza category. Now total order, group by pizza category. Now you can also order it by, you can also order this by, you can order it by the revenue. Now remember, select pizza category, count of quantity as total order from, we need to use it from there, because we need to indicate it to specify the table sales. After this, the next thing we want to do is we want to ensure that we group by pizza category, then we order it by, what do we order it by? We can order it by the count of pizza, which is similar as total orders. We can order it so that it will arrange it from maybe the highest to the lowest. That means descending or ascending, as the case may be. So if I run this query now, let's see what the outcome will be like. You can see this is the outcome, total orders. Question is asking us to write a query to retrieve the top two pizza category with the highest quantity of pizza sold. So before we can realize this, we have to use the select function. What are we selecting? Pizza category, as it is mentioned in the query, in the question. So pizza category. So when you select the pizza category, the next thing you want to do is you are looking at the highest quantity that was sold. So the next thing you want to do is to make sure you also select the quantity sold. So we're going to do the count of quantity. So when we do the count of quantity, that we have. So when you select the count of quantity, from where are we selecting all of this? We can do count of quantity as total orders, just like we did up there, as let's say as total orders. So let's use this as total orders. So this is it. Now where are we selecting all of this from? From the pizza sales table. So for using it from the pizza sales, let's use the pizza sales. After we have done this, because we are trying to select them as a group, so we must use the group by function. So group by what? We are grouping it by the pizza category because that's our intention. Group by the pizza category. Let's group them by the pizza category. Now, when we group it by the pizza category, we intend to also order it by. What are we ordering it by? We are ordering it by the total orders. So ordering it by the total orders. Total underscore orders. Now we can put it as descending from highest to lowest. So you can choose from lowest to highest depending on the question. Now, because we've been asked to select the top two, if we run this particular query like this, if we run this is what we'll get. This outcome is what we'll get. But that's not what is being required of us. So we should write a query to retrieve the top two. So we're going to use the select top function, top two. This is how to do top two. So if I want to run this query now, look at what will happen. I feel, as you can see here, this is it now. This is the top two, classic and supreme. They're the one leading the sales. That's the total orders. So as you can see, 14,579, 11,777, like that. So this will be able to answer. So if I want to get a top one, I'll just put top one here. Top three, I'll put top three here. Write a query to retrieve all sales. Look at this statement. It's saying we should retrieve all sales. So our duty is to retrieve all sales first. How do we do that? We're going to select all. Remember, asterisk means all. So we're going to select the all sales. That's the first thing that we want to do. So this all is going to retrieve all the information in the table. So select all in table. Now write a query to retrieve all sales record where pizza size is large. Now it's asking us to select all. From where are we selecting all? From the pizza sales table. Now there is a clause there. It's saying that where what? Pizza size. Where pizza size, according to the query, where pizza size is equals to what? Is equals to large. So we're going to use large is being represented by capital L in the table. So we won't just want to write large if large is not in the table, except you have actually worked on the table, probably cleaned the table and you've changed the L to large. Then you can now use large in your query. Otherwise, the SQL will not be able to recognize it as a parameter or a particular attribute, as the case may be. So now, where pizza size equals to L. Remember, this question is saying, and the order date falls in the month of December. So, and the next thing we want to use now is the AND function. And in the order date will then be equals to 12. Let's see something. As you can clearly see, by the time we run this query, this is the result that we get. I want you to please focus on the order date column, as you can see. look at the other date. You see that every month that you have is 12, 12, 12, telling you that they are all sales that was recorded in the month of December. So you can have this, and we can also have this. You can have this, and we can claim this. So with this, you can use the date name function, as you see here. So you select date name, weekday, so order date as order date, count the distinct order ID as total order from pizza sales, group by date name, weekday, order date, like that. So I do not want to bore you with having to start typing some of the codes, but as you can see here, for you to get it, you're going to use the date name function. So when you use the date name, you're going to specify which day of the week, then from which table, from which column are you talking about, from the order date. Call this the order date, and you do the distinct count of the order ID as total order. Now from pizza sales, which is the name on the table, then you group it by the date name, so which is weekday, and that is the order date, just like we did up there. Then your ordering it will tell you is it going to be in descending or ascending order. The same thing is applicable when you run this particular query here too. By the time you run this particular query here too, you're going to get the same results. We can select this. Now let's try to run this query and see what will happen. So you can see each day of the week. Friday, the highest sales was recorded. Apparently, from all indication, Fridays is always a bubbling day anyway. So we have Friday, we have the highest sales was recorded. Then we also have on Thursday, you have this followed by Saturday. Now you can see as a data analyst, this is where your professional input is expected. Why do they have the lowest sales being recorded on Sunday? You will now come up with recommendations on how they can. Now you will not be satisfied with the total sales being recorded on Friday. You're still going to devise, trying to bring up, recommend what they can do. Maybe they organize more promotional adverts, you understand, such that they can boost their sales on Fridays because it seems people buy more on Fridays. So you come with recommendations from what you've been able to deduce in this your exploratory data analysis, where you have been able to retrieve specific information in the table or from the database being given to you to assess. Now you've seen the tables, you've seen what is happening in the organization, you've seen how much they are selling, how much they are making. Now you want to come up with an insightful or a data decision that is highly insightful, where you can actually make a transformative decision for the organization that would help them or that will boost their overall revenue, which is their sole aim, because every organization apparently wants to make more profit. So this is where you come in with your own input and tell them, you know what, on Sundays, why do we have low sales? Which particular product is selling the lowest on Sundays? Okay, why don't we do this? Why don't we do this? From if we do this, we can get this result. Judging from what I have seen in your record. Now Mondays, why do we have this? Okay, people go to work. Okay, what category of people buy from you? Okay, what let's check how we can motivate maybe discount sales, or we can do a lot of things that can boost the sales like that, and that is how you improve. Watch out for the next part of the video. Please leave a comment, like, share this video with your post, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. God bless you all.